Hey, everybody. Mark Horner, Beyond 90 Seconds, coming to you live. This is something I didn't know I would be doing about an hour ago, but Christian Sasse has made himself available. If you are interested in the White Rock Lake wildfire that has been a big problem in southern British Columbia, this is the place to be right now at this moment because Christian Sasse is there. Christian, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us on very short notice tonight.
It's a big pleasure, Mark. I'm actually sitting outside, so.
Right. So I'm going to get right to to some core details because I know a lot of people who recently started following are very familiar with that area. Some of them have lived there. Some of them live there right now. And I want to make sure that we have proper context and we get it down. But let's give some granular information for the benefit of them so that they know where you're at. You're in your neighborhood on the front porch of your summer cottage at
Correct.
La Casa Cottage Resort. So you're just a few miles or kilometers south of where the hillsides are burning on the northwest side of Okanagan Lake.
Correct. Yes. Well said.
So where you're sitting right now, behind you, on a typical day, if we had clear skies, we would see the lake just beneath you and some hills just on the other side of the lake. What's it been like there today in terms of the fire and most noticeably in this picture, the smoke?
Yeah, it gets worse by the hour. That's it. This morning, at least when I look north, let me just, is it okay if I start showing this?
Absolutely. You got your iPad there, flip up around the camera and give us a little tour.
Give me a second to just get the angle right and change the camera so I can show this to you. I hope you can see this now.
Oh, absolutely, Christian, perfectly.
Okay, so we are facing north now, okay? So that's the direction of the fire, okay? So I'm going to slowly pan now, looking east. I'm going northeast now. Okay, that's northeast. And you can see this is where Lake Okanagan, I nearly said used to be, because you can't see anything. It is heavy smoke. It is so heavy that I have ashes here falling on the screen of my iPad. It's basically almost, it's raining. Okay, so I'm now facing exactly east, and I'm going to slowly pan on, and you can see what it looks like, right? So that's it. That's the scene. You cannot see the lake, or can just make it out, and you can just make the contour out of the opposite side, and that's about the best you can get. And there, I wish I could show you. I see ashes actually flying everywhere. I'm just going to show you the deck also. So if we move here along the deck now. Can you see this? I'm not sure, but
yes, absolutely. And what strikes me about it is it looks like almost dark pine needles or something rather than the white flaky ashes. But you're saying those are dark ashes.
Yeah. Or I don't know what to call them, but they're pieces of pine or so. You know, it's I'm not an expert, but you get a lot of this here.
So a few minutes ago, you said as you were giving us the tour, you said I think you quickly said it's raining, but you were referring to it's raining ash or something that's related to the fire.
Exactly. Let me just 1 second. Let me just reverse the camera again. There we go. Okay, let me put this back and then fine. Okay. So
no, that was very good. Thank you.
That's fine. This gives a good impression.
Okay, so we've been talking periodically throughout the day. I've been checking in with you. And in fact, that's something we've been doing for the last few weeks, but regarding this fire specifically. And you and I have a long-term history of friendship. So just for context for everybody, but you purchased that home that you're sitting outside of right now earlier this summer. And then lo and behold, you're in the situation where just a few days ago, the fire was fast approaching. You had actually gotten out a few days earlier to that moment because the smoke was getting bad back then. You've been back and forth a couple of times to your primary residence just outside of Vancouver. You're back there now. And as I've listened to you today, fair to say that with full confidence that the smoke situation has worsened throughout the day there?
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. In fact, the good thing is through the recent reporting that we've done together, I actually have a few friends all situated around the lake, so I get a lot of information what it's like in Penticton, for example. I get information what it's like in Vernon, and at the moment the situation seems to be, at least as from Vernon or across the lake, they see exactly the same what I'm seeing now. It's looking very depressing, and the air quality is terrible. So if you really want to know, and I'm sure many of the viewers would know that, you just go and look at purple air, for example, and that gives you a very good indication of what we're having right now. And I think it's the quality is really poor now. Yes.
Christian, it was only about 4 days or so ago when it wasn't so smoky. It was this moment in between all the smoke,
Yes.
where at night people could actually see the flames all over
Correct.
the hillsides there. We don't know if it's like that up there
No.
right now because we can't see. Now, the last few days, you were able to shoot video and photographs of the hillsides that are burning, and we saw again primarily smoke. What is
Correct.
your sense of the threat of the fire approaching homes? Well, it's been through some homes, we know that, but for example, your neighborhood, and there's another neighborhood or two just up the road from you. How is the fire? Does it feel like there's any safety there right now?
Well, this is so difficult to answer because it worries me when it gets so smoky. Because I can hear the helicopters, by the way, all the time operating. They're infantry. They're 1 mile north of here, so you hear them going up and down all the time. But they need visibility to work in this type of environment. When there's no visibility, it's extremely difficult. So I don't even know what to say, Mark, because the wind direction also changes from I nearly said from hour to hour or minute to minute. Sometimes I just have no idea what it's like. I honestly prefer to have a clear sky and see the fire, even though people don't like that, then have this situation where you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, very much in the dark or in the thick smoke, if you
Yes.
will. So
Yes.
I want to take just a moment to reach out to the people who are watching this right now. I want to give you not only an opportunity to listen, but an opportunity to participate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change a source in Zoom here. We're using Zoom to do this
Yes.
live stream.
Sure.
And I would like to show you my screen. Christian, do you see my screen?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Fantastic. So what I want to do is I want to show you how you can join this conversation. You can join as an attendee and join on the Zoom chat. Once you get there, if you want to be on camera and ask questions that way, we can bring you into this discussion on camera. We'll be able to see you and hear you. I know especially those of you who might have specific questions for Christian or some points of view that you would like to share. I just ask that we keep it respectful and we honor, or at least respect, everybody's position, because we're not always all going to agree on issues related to wildfires.
True.
So what you're looking at right now is a website where you can take the first step to joining us. So this is my blog. It's beyond90seconds.com. And if you go to beyond90seconds.com/live, you'll see this. It says live coming up tonight, Christian Sasse, wildfire. That's what we're doing right now. And you see this link right here. If you click that link, it's in blue, you will be able to register. There's a passcode, and then you'll be able to join as an attendee. You'll be listening and seeing us through Zoom. Okay. And then if you want to join us on camera, just use the icon to raise your hand. I'll keep an eye out for that. And I'll bring you in, and you can be part of this discussion very much directly and ask questions of Christian directly. So just wanted to extend that. You can always watch us on YouTube, the YouTube channel. There's a link here for that on this page here, and it's Beyond 90 Seconds, youtube.com/Beyond 90 Seconds. Now, Christian, while we're looking at what's on my iPad, you sent me some pictures and some videos earlier. This was taken just before we went live. This is a photograph you took toward the lake, right?
Yes. That's actually just looking behind me. That's it. Yes.
Okay, so that's what's behind you. We can barely make out the lake there. I can't make out anything behind you live.
Well, it's much worse now. Even in the last hour, it is much worse. I couldn't even see the sunset. I mean, it's interesting if I were to show you the sunset, because you wouldn't even be able to see the sun anymore now. Yeah, there you go. That's a nice close up.
Yeah. So this is when we talk about ash. These are all particles. I know Christian, he likes to keep his place clean. This is not normal. So even the front porch. So this is what's falling out of the sky. To me,
very quickly now. Very quickly. It's increasing a lot now, and actually, I'm taking it away from my hair all the time. Yes.
Wow. And my iPad's not going to play nice for. Let me get out of Voxer. So let me just try a different. Okay. There we go. And I know you sent the video too. So let's look at the video. And so this was you just walking along. That's right. Right before we went live, just like you did about a moment earlier in this live stream. So there we have it. So let's leave that and change the camera back to where we started from. And here we go. There we go. So Christian, last night you set out during the evening with hopes of, with your very sensitive lenses and cameras, because you have some high-end equipment.
Yes,
Let's
I do.
face it.
Yeah.
I mean, for those who don't know, Christian set a world record several years back for, as an amateur astronomer, for imaging the furthest object away from Earth, and it was a quasar. So this man knows about light sensitivity and lenses and so forth. But there was just no luck seeing the flames last night through the smoke. Isn't that right?
No, and I really tried. I did. For those of you who do night astrophotography, I'll tell you the settings. I was using an 800 millimeter lens. I was using ISO 5000, which is very sensitive, and I was doing a 30-second exposure. And I could just make out the the flames behind the smoke. That's what I was trying to reveal. That's already how heavy the smoke was last night. Tonight it is absolutely impossible, because no matter where you point your camera, you're going to see absolutely nothing, unfortunately. So, yes.
So Christian, you're outside now without a mask, and I'm not using the context of a pandemic. I'm talking in the context of air quality. How
Yes.
You had referred me to an app earlier today that shows air quality levels, and the numbers were all purple where you're at, which meant very severe. There's only one place I could see in the Western U.S. and Canada that's worse, and that's Kamloops Lake, which had a number of 500.
Yes, I would think we have the same at the moment. If you ask me, that's we don't have any air quality metering here in the area, but I would think that's probably what we have right now. Yes.
How restrictive is your movement in that area right now? On the northwest side of the lake, there's one primary road. Is it west side?
That's correct. That's completely correct. That's closed about 1 mile north of here, in a place where the Fintry Fire Brigade is. That's as far as you can get. And
so for the folks who have been following this channel in recent days, Christian, you've seen his video featured on this channel. And speaking of Fintry, you were there yesterday, and you were showing the helicopters. They were refueling at that area. Tell us about what that scene was like.
Oh my goodness! It's amazing collaboration and synchronization. Again, one helicopter comes in after the next, in all kinds of different colors. Really, I mean, that's and very different helicopters, which I think are brought in from the wider areas, regions. And they were just coming in, refueling and lifting again with all kinds of different tasks. Some of them were doing, obviously, carrying water buckets, and others were doing all kinds of other different survey tasks. So it seems very well coordinated. At the same time, I think that given the extent of the wildfire, we can really hope, Mark, that the wind won't pick up. I really hope so.
Indeed. And it's only getting hotter. I mean, we can't ignore that. It's 87 degrees Fahrenheit outside here right now. I know it's likely even hotter where you're at. Is there, as you talk with your neighbors there at La Casa Cottage Resort, people talking about the weekend ahead?
Yes, and many people, of course, are hoping to have, you have very different views. Some people think this is again human life, right? Some people like me think this is not okay. This is really concerning. And then there are other people who think, well, I've booked my holiday. I'm going to have my holiday now. So it's just very different views.
Yeah, there are a lot of considerations, aren't there? I remember a few years ago here in Washington State, I went north almost to the Canadian border. In Whatcom County, there's in the town of Blaine, which is a border town with Canada here in the U.S., Semiahmoo Resort. I stayed there with my family, and the smoke that season was so thick that the sun disappeared about 20 minutes before sunset. And the quality of the vacation, the holiday, if you will, was not very good. So at the same time, you see those local businesses, and certainly they would like to thrive and not go out of business, right? So I understand,
but I would really tell families to caution exactly your experience. You can also develop asthma and all kinds of other things. I'm lucky I don't have anything, but with this quality, I would really caution everyone to take children here and so on. I would think twice. That's just my view. Okay, so.
We just talked about the helicopters from yesterday's footage that you shot. A day or two earlier, you shot some fantastic video with your cameras, plural, of the planes that were hitting the fire.
Yeah.
And I had no idea I covered a lot of fires as a reporter, but this was a
Right.
bird's eye view right there, all laid out in front of us, of the teamwork amongst these pilots of at least 5 planes, that they worked in succession, that in a line, if you will,
Yes.
single file,
Yes.
hitting those ridge tops. Tell me about what your memories are of doing that so fresh this week now.
Well, that's completely correct. That was on the other side of the lake, and I found it phenomenal. First of all, I didn't know there were planes either. I thought this was all done by helicopter, just like you did. And when I watched the coordination, and I don't know if you can show some of this video again. I'm not sure if you can do that.
You know, I might be able to,
because I think the video says it all. It's the advantage, of course, of taking planes that sort of glide along the water and pick up water is much better than going down with a helicopter. So they can fill up a few gallons of water in this tank in no time, and go back and really systematically work at fires. So it's much better. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I don't have the file to play out of Zoom, but we can share it on my iPad. And I think what might happen, though, is when you talk, with knowing Zoom, it's going to switch to your camera.
Yeah.
We won't see the video. So we'll just kind of roll with it. So hang on a second. I've got the video playing. Here we go. So Christian, you should be seeing the video now. We're about 30 seconds in.
Yeah, here you can beautifully see the coordination there on the lower left. It looks remarkable. You see the planes coming in formation, and just circling back. That's on the west side of the lake, and because the lake is not very wide, most of the I shouldn't say refueling. Most of the retanking of the water took on place on the east side, right in front of my nose. So it was very spectacular. That's why I was able to take pictures like that. And also, what is unique about this video is because I could see where the first one was dropping the water, I could frame the picture very nicely. Here you go. Even that's taken with almost 1,000mm lens. I was able to understand their path and follow them much. But there you go. That's sort of gliding on the water and filling up the tank. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's a landing and takeoff.
Right. Right. So you call it a retanking a moment ago. And I'm glad we're able to have, address it. This is kind of skimming, dunking lightly, if you will, that container beneath the plane that it carries, fills it up with water. And they do that in succession, a line of them.
Yes. Beautiful work. And obviously these planes are in high demand. And the proximity to water is everything. I mean, we're lucky, of course, that we have a lake nearby. And then what they do is they systematically start from the areas where there are houses close to the lake and work themselves upwards, because it is such a huge area to tackle. I mean, you're talking about a total area of 50,000 acres. It's hectares. I'm sorry, hectares, and that is so big. I cannot even imagine how you tackle this. So you have to be very defensive, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how far this fire has traveled. It started on July 13th. There's a lot of talk about the way that it was handled at the beginning. Some strong assertions. I don't know the facts. I know what people are alleging, but there are a lot of people who are, it's fair to say, questioning the management approach in terms of the response, or possibly a lack of response early on. So that'll get sorted out. But I guess that's going to be the part of the long-term story. But the fighting the fire is what's very much on the front burner right now.
Yes, I don't know what to say. I can understand the people who've lost their houses. I mean, it must be absolutely devastating. I can understand that they're very upset and angry. At the same time, the wildfire, the winds were unbearably high, so much got out of control. So, what can one say to this, right? It's a very serious reality we live in now.
I was looking at video that someone shot while driving. It was on a dash cam, and it was driving for what they call the, I guess I'm not familiar with the area personally, but the Okanagan Highway, the stretch of 97 from Vernon all the way up to Kamloops. And along that way, you come to, I hope I pronounced it correctly, it's very much in the news, Monte Lake or Monty Lake.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
and that's where people took pictures of their homes as the flames and the wall of smoke and flames approached, and then fled, and their homes are gone.
Yes.
You told CTV television out of Vancouver yesterday it looked like hell.
Well, it was. I mean, even what we had, the view that I showed you up north. That is the sky was absolutely red orange, and you could see the flames. I mean, that's what we had on Friday here, and we thought this is the end. Really, I mean, because it was going so fast, and we were lucky. The wind suddenly turned, and yeah.
And just in case I'm creating any confusion, we're still looking at video that was shot a few days ago at the lake when they were using several planes. And then just yesterday, it was helicopters that we saw. And it's so smoky today. I imagine you said you're hearing helicopters. So presumably it's helicopters that are hitting that fire today.
Yeah, that's correct. But I have no idea how they operate under these circumstances. So we can only hope that the smoke lifts very soon.
Okay, I see we have another participant joining us. So first of all, let me switch back to my camera. We'll do that. And then let's find out who's joined us as an attendee. And it looks like it's Doreen. I'm going to allow you to come in, Doreen. Doreen sponsors this channel and on Patreon. We really appreciate Doreen's support. So Doreen, you're not obligated to turn on your camera. You're not obligated to turn on your microphone. But I went ahead and brought you in as a panelist just in case you'd like to. I think you're likely just to want to watch, and that's perfectly fine. But the opportunity does exist. Doreen's here, I believe, in Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, Doreen, for Christian, or observations about the wildfire in British Columbia, the White Rock Lake Wildfire, or anything about the wildfire season, because certainly it's an issue here in the Pacific Northwest. We know primarily as Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. I guess we kind of include British Columbia. I think you even said the Northwest the other day, even though you're Southern Canada, but we all get kind of chunked together, don't we?
We are one. I mean, all the way from Oregon upwards. I mean, yes, absolutely, of course.
Yeah. So, Christian, how much concern is there amongst your neighbors right now about what to do next? Should you be concerned?
Very little. It's still like a ghost town. I think it's what I just showed you. It's about 10% of the people are here at the moment. So most people are not, and that's very wise. They are not here. We just came back, Mark, and we're going to leave again tomorrow. We just came back to check the situation and to correct some things that you should do in case of an evacuation, and get some other belongings out. But in general, it's best not to be here.
Yeah.
If you can, right. Something
I want to clearly point out is that you've been very sensitive, and rightly so, about not being in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
You're there. You're there for your home, getting your possessions, bringing things back home to the other side of British Columbia in the Vancouver area where your primary residence is. But you shot the plane video, for example, from across the lake.
Yeah, that's correct.
You're clearly out of the way of the action. Yeah. And even the stuff from La Casa, well, you live there, that's your home is there, and you're doing it right outside your front doorstep, basically, where you can see when the smoke isn't so thick, the fire burning on the hillside over the rooftops.
Yes, and you have to be very respectful, because what you don't want to do is, I mean, they can't block all the forest. You could walk through the forest and get to the fires, right? How are they going to block everything? But you just don't do that. You just be responsible and keep out of the way. It's the same. I think there were some, and I only heard this through a word of mouth, that there were today some people trying to get close to the fire with their boats and were hampering helicopter operation. I find that completely irresponsible. I mean, it's recreation versus versus emergency. So I think really one should be very respectful and say, well, this is not my vacation now. You have to accept that and really get on with it. So let them get on with it.
Yeah. I am watching the YouTube chat, live chat, as well as the Zoom chat. Doreen, if you hover your mouse over the lower part of the Zoom player, there's a bubble there and it says chat beneath it. If you would like to text a question for Christian, you're more than welcome to do so, because we definitely want to make this more of a
of course, this is the nice
experience.
thing. This is not a TV channel. This is a dialogue, right?
Right. It's a dialogue. And we're seeing some of that reflected in these videos featuring your footage, Christian, that we've put up. The one with the planes is about 10,000 views now. It's just put up about 3 days ago, I think. And the one uploaded just yesterday is around 2,500 views. And people are commenting. And there are some, there's some good input that people are sharing some of their personal experiences, and, including right in that area where you're at. Christian, at the moment, I know you did it for the early, but in this live stream, others have since joined. Would you mind flipping the camera on your iPad one more time and just kind of showing us the view and kind of situating your location for us?
Do that, of course. 1 second.
As Christian does this, he's in the Casa Cottage Resort.
Yeah. So this is looking north now towards the fire. Of course, absolutely everything looks the same because we have particles in the air and it diffuses everything, so you don't know where is what. But I'm just giving you the direction. That's where on Friday you saw the sky completely orange with flames coming up, and you thought that was sort of the end. That's how terrible it was. And then we got just 2 days ago the evacuation was lifted for now. So, and this is looking east now across the lake, right? And you can just barely make out the other side. That really changes as the wind goes. This is looking more south now, but it looks more or less the same in every direction. And I also know that I've heard from others who live along the lake, who share information with me, that it looks more or less the same in Vernon too and Kelowna at the moment. So I would have loved to go out and give you some extra footage, some live footage, but it's absolutely impossible because it'll look the same the same everywhere. Plus, at least I have Wi-Fi here. And one of the devastating things for me was when I was showing, when I was trying to answer some questions on over the weekend where people said, is my house still there? I wanted to do that all live and I wasn't able because if you're on the opposite side where I'm pointing now, that's the east side, in order to look at the west side where the fire is, we would use cell phone coverage very likely from this side. And since they had a power outage, it wasn't possible to get any cell phone coverage, which was really frustrating because I intended to show people live what was going on. Okay, I'm just going to flip the camera again.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
1 second.
So I think what I'd like to do is, do you have a bit longer to hang with us? I'd like to bring up a map and show folks if I could.
Yes, a few more minutes is fine.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So let's bring the map up. We're going to change our camera source again. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so Okanagan Lake. I'm going to just zoom out just to give some perspective. You can see Washington State.
That's it.
Lower left part of your screen, Washington State, Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, of course. Vancouver in the north, yes.
Yeah, Vancouver.
There you go. And then you travel.
So yeah, we go. You can see the white topped mountains.
Yes.
And as we could go to the right, which is east.
Yes, that's it. And you go up, and there you go, come right in the region. Yes, that's
right.
It.
And then
there you see the fire already.
Right, and you can see exactly. Very good, Christian. They've got this marker here to let you know it's in red. Kind of, it says White Rock Lake Fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if we come over here, the area that you've seen burning from right where you're sitting, as you look to the north, as you showed us with your iPad camera just a moment ago, the other camera.
Yes.
The area that you see burning is, I think, this hillside area right here, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Have I got that right? So this is, I think, is this Finley? Is that what it's called? Or
that's correct. That's called Fintry.
Fintry. Thank you.
That's correct.
And so just this area over here. Now, Christian, okay, this is an area that gets talked up a lot right here. It's Kilney Beach. Kilney Beach, Killney or Kill.
That's exactly where the fire is. That's right. All the videos that you saw, Mark, were taken from there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Kilney. It looks like Kilney. Killiney. Okay. And so when you were shooting the planes video, we saw a photograph in the midst of that of all these houses side by side. And I think that might have been the Killiney Beach area, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it was. And you were just across the lake in this general area over here.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
So that's where you shot.
Completely correct. Right opposite. It's just south of Vernon. That's correct.
Right,
Yes.
and Vernon is just up here.
Up there, yes. And Vernon was also under evacuation alert. That's how severe it was.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So again, because I think the camera may be flipping back and forth between the map and you when you speak. There's Vernon, and Killiney Beach is over here.
Yes.
Right center. And Christian was shooting the plane video from the opposite side of Okanagan Lake. Right here. It's a very long lake. I don't know how long it is, but it's quite long. And we're talking about the fire burning on the north. So here's the length of the lake, rather. Yep. And we're talking about the northwest section of Okanagan Lake. And the fire came from this direction here.
Mark, I'm sorry. I'm called into a meeting now.
Oh, no, I understand. You've also got your regular job. Christian, this was awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Your time is so appreciated. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, Mark, for doing this. I really and thank you for everyone listening. I'm sorry I have to run now.
I know how it goes, my friend. All right. Take care. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye. So again, Christian Sasse reporting to us live, giving us what information he can give us at this moment. It's not the official channels, the public information officers, but he's there witnessing it. And when he can, documenting it. Documenting it is hard beyond smoke tonight because the smoke is so thick. In the Zoom chat, Doreen Farrar makes a comment here. Thanks for doing these videos. This is my 30th fire season, and it's still surprising how much damage happens. I am looking over. Oh, here we go. J Bay Media. I think you might have a YouTube channel. I think I've seen your handle on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. The question. I'm sorry I didn't get this in time for Christian. J Bay Media asks, can you tell us status of Okanagan Indian Band and Parker Cove? I don't have the answers here I live just north of Seattle, but I've read about the Okanagan Indian Band. And I know that there were, the figure I saw was more than 100. I believe it was either more than 100 individuals or more than 100 homes were displaced because of the approaching fire. So I don't know whether or not those folks that were displaced have been allowed to return. And straight up, I don't know anything about Parker Cove. So I'm sorry I can't give you firm information, but thank you very much for asking, J Bay Media. I really do appreciate it. And I said, I think you have a YouTube channel. Well, you must if you're commenting under that handle in the YouTube live chat. Thank you. Appreciate the question. And I'll ask Christian in a follow-up. And if I get an answer, I'll post it in the comments down below. So thank you very much for that. All right, folks. I could keep talking, but I really don't have any more information other than I did see some Facebook photos today. And I probably, for copyright reasons, I shouldn't share those by showing the Facebook page of what those ridgetops looked like a few nights ago when there was not as much smoke. And you could see those hillsides. And they were very much aflame. It was apocalyptic looking in terms of the intensity and the amount of fire that was witnessed on those hillsides and ridgetops just above that northwest side of the lake. All right, I hope that this is of interest. Thank you very much. Feel free to comment if you would like to beneath the video. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer or see if Christian can answer. I really appreciate Christian Sasse's contributions to this channel as he continues to document what's happening around himself and his home along the shores of Okanagan Lake in British Columbia. If you like this type of content, please consider giving this video a like. If you'd like to further support it, go ahead and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. If you want to even go one step further, I recently started a Patreon channel. It's patreon.com/Beyond 90 Seconds. Thank you so much for watching and taking a moment to consider this information. Take care, everybody. So long.